Hi, I'm Carter,
And I'm Ewan.
and today we are going through our both of our top five coming of age teen movies. Just yeah, you can follow me at Carter Reviews on Instagram and Twitter, and I don't have a YouTube channel anymore, but you can also check out my Letterboxd at Carter Anderson.
And I have a YouTube channel, Ewan Reviews. It's probably where this podcast will be for the first few episodes until I actually find out how to put it on like Spotify or Apple Music.
Yeah,
And then I also have Letterboxd at Ewan Reviews, same for Instagram, Twitter, and I think that's it. All right, so you can share your honorable mentions
my
first, and then
honorable mentions. Okay,
yes.
so I got Mean Girls. It's one of my favorite movie of all time, but in sense of coming in age and stuff, I don't exactly think it fits the mold. I
Yeah.
got Inside Out, Clueless, Boyhood, Spectacular Now, Super Bad, and Easy A.
All right, yeah, I would agree. I have super bad on mine, especially. I also have. I know you're gonna kill me for not having this one on mine, but Lady Bird, Perks of Being a Wallflower. I need to rewatch it. I haven't seen it in like 2 years.
Yeah, I haven't seen mine in a while either.
Yeah, it's. I remember it being really good. And then I'd also have 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah, that was gonna be my number five, but I chose my other number five instead. But because I just rewatched it like 2 nights ago, it's so good.
Yeah, I watched it maybe for the first time whatever the day that Heath Ledger died or it was his birthday. One of those days I watched it. And how many is that? That's four for me. And then I'll probably stick on Boyhood. Really long, but
Yeah,
I watched it last year and I really loved it. So yeah.
yeah. I'd also say like "Call Me by Your Name" deserves to be on there too, even though
Yeah,
it's not like
that's a I don't know what genre really put that in, like drama, yeah, but like yeah, Call
it's
Me
not
by Your
like
Name is good.
teen, but it's like
Yeah,
coming of age still.
it's true.
I mean, I included Inside Out, and that's a Pixar film, so
Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
Inside Out's great.
yeah, it is.
You
Okay,
can go
do you want to
first for
do?
your number
You want me to go
five.
first? Okay,
Yeah, you can go first,
so
but this is from five to one, too.
yeah, 520. Okay.
So,
So my number five is Love, Simon. It's 2018, really recent, kind of based off the book. And I love this movie so much. There's so many just humane elements to it, and even though there's some um plot lines that really annoy me, it's just such a wholesome, beautiful movie. And it's like legitimately funny too and
oh yeah,
heartwarming. Just I can't really find enough adjectives to describe it. So I love Love.
yeah,
I
I
love Love Simon.
yeah, I also I should have put that on my honorable mentions. That was the one I forgot about. Yeah, that was one of my favorites of
Mm.
2018. I really love that movie. It's really funny,
Yeah, it's
and
really really good.
yeah, I do. And that's another one I need to rewatch soon.
Yeah,
My,
that's one of my favorite. Like, sorry, I keep interrupting you. Fuck. Craig Robinson's performance is like one of my favorite performances of 2018, and
oh
I
yeah,
know it's not like an Oscar film by any means, but it's just such a grounded film and just great film.
yeah. I think my favorite scene and that made me laugh so much was when I forget, I don't remember the context of it, but they were talking about why do they have to like come out as gay and then all
Yeah,
of them
yeah,
come out as straight and the one mom just starts crying.
yeah, yeah. That's
I
such
remember
like
laughing oh
uh
so hard at that.
yeah, such a great like crafted movie too, and it totally tackles sexuality in such an honest, universal way.
Yeah, I have it as number 11 on my 2018 list right now. Yeah, it is
Yeah, it was number
amazing.
three for me already.
I,
What's your number five?
my number five is very different. It's Dazed and Confused from 1993. Have you seen this one?
I have not, but I've like been tempted to watch it so many times, and
Oh,
then I've just not.
yeah.
It's one of those
Yeah.
films for me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It took me a while to watch it, and I rewatched. I've seen it twice now. I rewatched
Mhm.
it a few months ago, but it's I just love it so much. It's so funny. I honestly think it's one of the funniest films of the '90s. Ben Affleck is so good in the movie, and when
Yeah, I've heard he is.
he's like the bully, and there's a scene. I think it's like paint involving paint, where something just gets dumped on him, and he like freaks out, and it's really funny. But it's like I don't know, like coming from a non-stoner, this may be like the best stoner movie of all time. And it's
Yeah,
just scene to scene, it's just a big laugh riot, and I love everything about Dazed and Confused. Like even, and of course Matthew McConaughey in it. All right, all right, all right.
yeah.
Like it is
Yeah, yeah.
amazing. Yeah, yeah,
Didn't it's Richard Linklater, right?
yeah. It is. I
Yeah,
forgot about that.
Boyhood.
Yeah, this is one of his first films. This is I like this one obviously more than Boyhood, but I need to
Yeah,
watch the
yeah.
Before trilogy by him too. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I haven't either, but it's on my watch list.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna watch it over this big break that we have. But yeah, I love Dazed and Confused. What's your
Already,
number
do we want to go to
four?
my number four? Okay,
Yep.
so this has already been mentioned, but Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Nice.
And I've only seen it once, so it could go higher, could go lower in future watchings. But something about the way, like the dynamics between all the characters, especially Ezra Miller's Patrick, um, just the music, the direction, the honesty in the screenplay. It's such a beautiful film, which is also hilarious too. And it's just really poetic in a sense, and I really admire this film.
Yeah, I definitely. This is another one. I'll say this a lot that I need to rewatch because the scene in the cafeteria. I don't want to spoil the movie, but the scene where a character stands up for another character, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like all in like slow. That scene. Oh my God, that's just like I'm getting like chills talking about it. Wow. Yeah. This film. It is honestly so beautiful, and I love all the performances. Logan Lerman. That's the same, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, him, Ezra Miller, and Emma Watson are just fantastic in the film. And
Mhm.
that scene where they're driving and then she like stands up and puts her arms out
Yeah,
the
with
top. Yeah,
Heroes
yeah,
playing. Yeah.
yeah. I
Weird enough, like my favorite scene is when they're at prom or whatever, and
yeah,
Emma Watson and Ezra Miller they just start dancing to "Come On Eileen." I found that just to be like the most
yeah,
real scene and
yeah.
like I've seen in a long time. It's amazing.
Yeah. That's the thing about the film is that it feels really realistic, and that's the best thing about these coming of age films.
Yeah, for sure.
Good to go
You're
into
up.
my my number three is one that you just watched, and that is Juno. Juno is a film that I watched last summer for the first time and instantly fell in love with it. And then a few days ago, I rewatched it, and there's just I don't know what it is about it, and it's so weird. The director, he also made Tully from 2018. I don't like that movie at all. I don't think you do either.
Yeah, neither do I.
No, but it's like he has a weird obsession with pregnancies. But no, I think Ellen Page
And
is
young
like,
adult.
yeah, Ellen Page is honestly fantastic. It's one of my favorite performances by an actress like ever. I'm not even kidding. Michael Cera is like the master at playing awkward teenagers. This also
Yeah,
came out
yeah.
the same year as Superbad, and yeah, I don't know, like Superbad's obviously a more funny film and more rewatchable, but I think I actually like this one more. And just there's something about it. Everyone in the film is amazing. Jennifer Garner and Jason Bateman as the like
Mhm.
adoptive parents are so good. I love the connection or the relationship or friendship that starts to blossom between Ellen Page and Jason Bateman, and then obviously J.K. Simmons as her father. It's so funny
Yeah,
seeing him in this, and then you like look at his other work as like Whiplash, and you're just like, wow. And this film is really funny too. Like Ellen
yeah.
Page is just, oh, she's amazing here.
Yeah, she's like a tour de force in this. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
I just watched this, not even kidding you, last night for the first time, and I was just really drawn to it. The script is so honest and it's bold and timely, and it still holds up. I think it's like 13 years later now.
yeah,
Ellen Page, of course, is absolutely phenomenal in this. Really, like one of my favorite characters of all time, or at least in recent memory. I didn't like it obviously as much as you did, but I
yeah,
still like 4 out of 5 for me. And
yeah.
Jason Reitman did this, who's doing the new Ghostbusters as
Oh
well. So
yeah, I
yeah,
forgot
so
about that. Yeah, I
that's really
wonder if there'll be
exciting.
some pregnancy in there. That'd be really weird. But
With
yeah,
Finn Wolfhard.
oh my God, that'd be amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah, I love Juno. There's just it feels so real. Like the main character, obviously Juno. I feel like I know some of my friends really remind me of her. Like two of them particularly, it's like them mashed together really reminds me of her. And it's just I don't know.
Mhm.
This is like a really beautiful film in the final moments.
Yeah, I see, like, obviously not the pregnant part, but I see myself in her a lot, and or little aspects of her entire character and just surrounding me is really brilliant.
Yeah. Good to go on to number two.
Are we on number 3?
That was
Right?
number three. Oh, fuck, I I messed it up. Actually, I switched the order around, but I mean, this is one that I could mix up the order. So yeah, you can go.
All right. Okay. So, my number 3 is Almost Famous. Now, this is my number 3 favorite film of all time. I
Wow.
love this movie to pieces, even though it's only number 3 on my list. Um, so, Almost Famous is the most, probably the most wholesome film I have ever seen. I just, it's almost like La La Land when I watch it. I feel so, just the surge of happiness, and every single character is beautifully laid out. The plot line is effortlessly amazing. I absolutely love Kate Hudson in this. She is Penny Lane is my favorite character of all time, all time. Sorry, and my favorite scene, of course, is Tiny Dancer when he says, "I need to go home," and she says, "You're already home," or whatnot. Amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, so I haven't seen Almost Famous, but even my music teacher last week, he referenced the film. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's a good little film." And I have seen that Tiny Dancer scene. Like when you were saying it there, I was like, "It's like you're already home." Like I've seen that. I don't know where, but it's just like I really do need to watch it soon.
Yeah, you need to see it. It's an amazing film, and like the screenplay has to be my favorite or second favorite screenplay of all time.
What's your favorite?
We'll get to it.
Okay.
We'll
Oh,
get
I
to it.
feel
Yeah.
like I could take a guess, but yeah. Okay, so my number three, I actually mixed up my four and three, but I was gonna say how they can be interchangeable. So my number three is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Have you seen this one?
Yeah, yeah, of course I
Okay,
have.
I was really hoping. Ferris Bueller's Day Off is a film that I feel like most people have seen, and for good reason. It is honestly one of the funniest films I think ever made, and like not just cracking jokes every second, but just I don't know, very relatable, and I love obviously Matthew Broderick as Ferris Bueller. Ferris Bueller, one of my favorite
Yeah,
characters. It just has so much, just such weird, crazy scenes, and I love when he's running through the backyards and he's hopping through, and then when randomly like just the Star Wars music is playing and the guys are going over the big hill on the car and they're like flying in the air. I'm just like, where did this come from? This is amazing. John Hughes is like one of the best 80s directors, probably the
yeah, he
best.
is.
Like if you look at his filmography, like 16 Candles, he did Weird Science, I think, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, The Breakfast Club, and he produced, I think, Home Alone. Like it's just like these young
Yeah, yeah,
adult films that were just all in the span of like 10 years, not even.
yeah. It's such an iconic and classic movie. Like, it's been referenced in like Deadpool,
Yeah.
EVA, and Spider-Man. Like, it's just such an amazing film. Uh, yeah, it's just timely and so like timeless. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen it maybe six times, something like that, and just every time it just stays the same. Like, there are some films where like you watch it more and more, and then you start to find flaws. I don't see
Hmm.
any flaws in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Like, there's just, I don't know. It's like relatable now because there's like getting off school, and I love when his friend's on the phone and he calls the principal and he's talking like this.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, this
It's just such a
it's
fun
really fun.
movie.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yep.
Number 2.
Yes.
Okay, righty. So my runner-up is an amazing film. So it's The Edge of 17, 2016, Haley Steinfeld, Woody Harrelson, Kara Sedgwick, and oh my God, do I love this movie. The character of Nadine is the most cynical, hilarious character ever. I'm just drawn to her character and her dimensions and the way she reflects like lack of self-esteem and anxiety and just kind of navigating who you are in the world and you don't have to know who you are. The screenplay is just fantastic in this, and there's so many scenes and so many incredible lines of dialogue that are so memorable, and I really hope stick with me because it's just such a fantastic film.
Yeah, so and this is another one I haven't seen, but I'm gonna watch this week, like for sure, because I think it's on Netflix, you said.
Yeah, it
And
is.
yeah, like that, the people you just named, I'm just like, damn, that sounds like a great cast. And I've heard great things about it from like everyone. I don't know why I haven't checked it out yet, but I will check it out soon, trust me.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, Haley Steinfeld got a Golden Globe nomination for it.
Wow.
It's just so like, like I know I keep saying this with all these films, but so human, and like I admire all the characters, and I can see myself and I can see others in all these characters, and just there's so many great scenes. Like, there's after a scene is over, the next scene I'm like looking forward to it, and like it's such a great film.
That's a lot of praise. But you just said if you've like watched a great scene and you're like really, if a movie makes you excited from scene to scene, that's really something.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's totally recommend to go and watch it. It's something that everyone should see.
All right. My number two is another classic from the 80s, and that is Stand By Me. Have you seen this one?
Yeah, I have a long
Okay.
time ago, but I
A
have.
long time, yeah. I don't think we've talked about this yet, but yeah, Stand By Me is a film that when I first watched it, I liked it, and then like just the more I thought about it, it grew on me, and it's in my top 25 favorite films, top 25, 30 of all time. And it's just these characters, they're just like when I first watched it, I was around the age of them. I think they were like 12 in the film or something. I remember I watched
Yeah,
it 12 or
something like that.
13, and they feel like all people I know, and then just you go through the film and then you find out more about the people, and even like the hard tough guy, he has a bad home life and that's what's making him tough. And then like you get to
Mhm.
some of the scenes where some of them are crying at the end and you're like, damn, this is like full of emotion. And then just Kiefer Sutherland was like an awesome 80s villain in these Corey Feldman, I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
him. One of the Coreys or Corey Haim. I think it's Corey Feldman. Yes, and he was also in a movie called The Lost Boys, which I also love, a vampire movie, and Kiefer Sutherland was a villain there too. And I was just like, yeah, it is just so well done. And this is a Stephen King adaptation of his
Hmm.
novella The Body, and it's like really, I don't know, it's a really touching story. I don't know. I haven't read the book or the novella, but I really want to just see the differences. But I feel like these four lead performances are just some of the best.
Hmm.
And that final like monologue when he's like finishing writing the book at the end, and he talks about like you'll never have the same friends as you did as a kid. I'm like, damn, that's sad.
Yeah, yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time, but it also was on my honorable mentions because it's just such like a kind of the best example of a coming of age film, and
Yeah.
it's like still relevant today, especially with Stranger Things and everything, and
Hmm.
it's just an amazing film all in all.
Yeah, there's just I don't know, there's something about it, and just the random conversations like about Pez, and I'm just like, if you could have one food for the rest, if you could have whoops, if you could have one food for the rest of your life, what would you choose? Pez, and I'm like, okay, and like when they're going down the train tracks singing Lollipop, I'm like, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
All right, so our number one, you can go
Okay.
first here.
My number one, kind of obvious, my top five favorite films of all time, my favorite screenplay of all time, and possibly my favorite character of all time is Lady Bird. I can watch Lady Bird over and over again, pretty much recite every single line of dialogue, and there's so many great lines of dialogue in this film, so many great lines of dialogue or great scenes in this film. I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so much. Every single character. And if I thought that Edge of 17 and Perks of a Wallflower had realistic characters, Ladybird 10 times more amazing. Just everything about all these characters fits together so perfectly. They're so real. Your protagonist is flawed but has great motivations, and just I actually can't put into words how much this film means to me, and especially the character of the bird. Um, yeah, just the themes of relationships with your parents, trying to be successful in the world, trying to be the best version of yourself in the world. Um, I relate to so much and I love so much. And Greta Gerwig handles her subject material so delicately, and you can tell she's passionate and loves this film, and I love this film.
I of course love this film. Is on my honorable mentions, but it is just like when I'm looking at my A24 list and it's at number 6, and I'm like, how is this one only at number 6? Like, I love this film a lot. It is honestly like completely like flawless. Definitely,
Hmm.
the performances are just fantastic. And the one behind the scenes clip I've seen, you just see like Greta Gerwig like laughing with everyone. I'm
Oh,
just like, yeah,
well, they're
she,
like in the field with
yeah,
Lucas Hedges. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
I love that clip.
And it's just like you see that she actually cares about what she's doing, and I'm just like, this film, it's so good. I haven't seen it in like maybe a year, but I really do need to rewatch it to see if it maybe gets better on rewatch. I feel like it can, but I don't know how, because it's like easy A+, no question about it. And again, it just
Yeah.
feels so real, and even though like you, as the film goes on, you connect more and more to the character of Ladybird, and you just, I don't know, there's just something about it that is so,
Hmm.
it's just so well done. Like Greta Gerwig's other film of last year, Little Women, I really liked it, but it, for me, it didn't even compare to Ladybird.
I find that, yeah, I totally agree with you. I find that Lady Bird is just like, you don't need to go looking for who Lady Bird is or who all these characters are. They're just so like out there and raw in themselves, for better or for worse. And we see them progress for better or for worse. And it's just an amazing film. And like so many quotable lines, like, don't be a Republican, for example. Like, it's just like, and they're not even like lines, like they don't have oomph
Yeah.
to them. They're just said, and you pick up on them. And I can rewatch this 1,000 times a day, and I wouldn't get bored.
Yeah, like it's something we're like we're talking about like with lines. There are certain lines in films that are purposely written to be, I don't know, like reenacted or memorable in your mind, something like that. But like Lady Bird has so many lines where you wouldn't think that you would remember it right after, but like in
Hmm.
your head you're just like going through these lines. Okay,
Are we
so
ready for your number one?
yeah, my number one is The Breakfast Club. I mentioned John Hughes before, and this is easily my favorite film from him by far. The Breakfast Club is like the film I've seen. If we aren't talking about comedies, weirdly, The Breakfast Club is the film I've seen most. Like, I probably rewatched this film over 10 times, and I only watched it for the first time like maybe 3 years ago. And I've definitely seen it over 10 times. It is just everything about it is, it's a perfect film basically. Like, just I love all the characters, and a lot of the things like stand by me, like the more you go along the more you find out about characters. And I love seeing Emilio Estevez in this film, because
Hmm.
before this I'd only seen the Mighty Ducks, so like I'm like, oh my god, it's Coach Pompey as a wrestler, wow. And then it's just every character has their problems, and even in scenes where you're like, oh, they're actually getting along, and then one of them will snap at the other one, and you're like, oh, these are like real people, and that's just the best thing. And then it's all
Yeah.
basically in one location. It's like all in the library for the most part. Like there are a few scenes in the hallway and in the parking lot, but for the most part, it's all trapped in one location, and you really feel that. And of course, the iconic shot of them all sliding down the hallway, and then they trying to run, and some of them are like falling. I just love it. So many lines, and it's just. I also love the principal, and he's just it's so funny. And when he's climbing through the vents, and then he falls
Yeah.
straight in. Again, this is one that, like you said, for labor, like I could watch this 1,000 times a day and never get bored.
The great thing about coming of age movies is that, and especially in the 80s and in the 2010s, I think especially, you can totally like um, just these amazing characters, and you get to like be with them and experience with them, and you get to see their flaws, and you also get to see um, their positives and how they react with one another, and you can see themselves in them. And that's why like coming of age movies are one of my favorite genres, because they're so relevant and timely and hilarious and raw. And yeah, Breakfast Club is a great example of that.
Yeah, that's like it's easy to love something when you can relate to it. That's what I feel.
Hmm.
So that a lot of these films, as I've listed, even some of yours, it's like you really relate to like the characteristics of these people, and they don't feel like characters. They feel like real people, and
Yeah,
that's just the best part about teen films. Like, and watching it as a teen, obviously, you're like, hell yeah, this, and then sometimes someone will say something, you're like, oh, I remember when somebody said this to this person and they are really offended, and you're like, this just feels so real, so
it's like
authentic.
even if you can't relate personally to the characters, you can see their motivations and their ambitions,
Yes.
and you can totally just understand them. And I think that's the big idea.
Oh yeah, I totally agree on that. It just it's when you know you have a well-made film, especially a teen film, when even if you can't find like anything about the character that you like, you still
Hmm.
understand what they're going for, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
there's our
Well,
list.
yeah, I think that concludes our list. Most of these are available on Netflix, if not Amazon Prime, if not a website called Soap Today, which
Yeah,
I don't really know if it's legal or not, but you know.
I don't know.
Um, yeah, I have no clue. Go check out our social media,
Yeah,
and
you listed that before, and I'll put it on the screen right now just because this first one will definitely go up on YouTube until I figure out how to put them on Spotify and stuff like that. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
thank you all for listening. You want to send it off, leave it off,
You go
whatever.
ahead. Yeah,
All right, thank you all
it's all
for
you.
listening, and we will see you guys in the next episode whenever that comes out.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
yeah.